The Reflexive Engine, how human will rewrites the universe. The universe is not a static tableau of matter and energy, it is a recursive engine, a system whose subsystems can alter the whole. Among these subsystems, one stands apart, the human mind, armed with the symbolic apparatus of language. Language is not merely a mirror of reality, it is a lever. Through it, humans encode intentions, transmit models, and coordinate actions that reshape the physical substrate from which they themselves emerge. This is the paradox and the power. The universe has evolved a component capable of editing the conditions of its own unfolding. 1. The feedback loop of agency. The process can be rendered as a simple but profound cycle. Language. Humans construct symbolic representations of the world, words, equations, diagrams, myths. Action. These representations guide coordinated behavior, from the swing of a hammer to the launch of a spacecraft. Material change. Actions alter the arrangement of matter and energy, cities rise, forests fall, genomes are edited. New language. The altered world is observed, measured, and described anew, generating fresh symbols that feed back into the cycle. This loop is not a closed circle but a spiral. Each turn modifies the conditions for the next, enabling complexity to accumulate. 2. Systems thinking and self-modification. In systems terms, humanity is a nested subsystem within the planetary biosphere, itself nested within the cosmic environment. The human subsystem is unique in that it possesses symbolic processing, the ability to model not only the external world but also its own internal states and potential futures. When a subsystem can model the larger system and act on that model, it becomes a reflexive agent. Reflexive agents introduce non-deterministic pathways into the system's evolution, because their actions are guided by abstract goals rather than fixed physical laws alone. 3. The universe as co-author. From this perspective, the universe is not merely modified by humans, it is self-modifying through them. The atoms in our brains were forged in ancient stars, yet those same atoms now participate in designing machines that will leave the solar system. The causal chain loops back. The universe produces agents who, in turn, produce new configurations of the universe. This is not mystical, it is mechanical, informational, and inevitable once symbolic cognition arises. The will of human agents is, in this framing, a vector along which the universe writes its next chapter. 4. Implications for the future. If the feedback loop is left unguided, it can spiral into destructive attractors, ecological collapse, runaway technologies, or symbolic systems divorced from physical reality. But if consciously steered, it can generate unprecedented resilience and beauty, terraforming barren worlds, restoring damaged ecosystems, and expanding the domain of life and thought. The challenge is meta-symbolic, to use language not only to describe an act, but to design the loop itself, to embed in our symbols the principles that will keep the cycle aligned with the flourishing of the whole system. 5. Closing reflection. In the end, the question is not whether humans will change the universe, that is already happening, every moment. The question is whether we will recognize ourselves as the universe's own instruments of self-transformation, and whether we will wield that role with the precision, humility, and imagination it demands.